Is it a spike,
Thanks,
or is
Pete.
that just how it always is for police?
Pete, we see around 250 police assaulted every month. Certainly the last couple of weeks there has been an increase, and certainly an increase in violence. And I think because of body-worn camera, CCTV and mobile devices, is that the public's getting to see how some people behave and the treatment of police at its worst.
So these last few, especially in the last week, what's behind all of that?
But look, they're all very different. We're certainly monitoring sentiment towards police following issues that happened overseas and protests that we've seen across Australia and the world. But in reality, Pete, we haven't been able to, I suppose, nail down the exact reason. New South Wales Police Minister is looking at holding an inquiry into assaults into police, which we welcome, to really look at this issue end to end and certainly right through into the judicial system as well.
Do you think frustrations with COVID-19 come into it?
Look, Pete, it certainly could be that, but I'd have to say if someone was frustrated with COVID-19 and they were willing to, assault the police officer, with knives or other weapons, I mean, what are these people capable of for members of our community?
Yep, we're playing some of this vision now, Commissioner. That's some of that video that's on the body cam that the Commissioner was just talking about. I just want to identify a couple of cases that's happened in the last week. You've got the Tuggerah Lakes incident when police were called to a house in Buff Point. The particulars of this is the man punched a female senior constable in the face before he grabbed her around the neck in a chokehold. He then punched a male officer in the groin and spat on the police. This was an incident that caused understandable outrage in the community last week. Commissioner, can I ask how the officers are doing?
Yeah, I caught up with the officers last week, and Daniel at this stage was on crutches. He's got a serious injury. He's lost feeling to one of his legs at the moment because of a back injury. Kayla, her neck injury, I mean, I can only describe, Pete, that she looks like she's been in a serious motor vehicle accident. Her neck is so damaged at the moment. I think it's one of the big things, Pete, is I know the community is very supportive of their police force in New South Wales, but some of these injuries, Pete, they will be, life-lasting injuries, and I think that shouldn't be lost on anyone, that, yeah, police get assaulted, yes, we have a dangerous job, but there are times the seriousness of these injuries are life-lasting, both physically and sometimes mentally as well.
Well, I was going to ask about that. Is there ongoing trauma when it comes to this? Does PTSD come into play?
It absolutely does, Pete, and then police come back onto the street, and of course they're in this difficult situation where we're always scrutinised in relation to the force that we use, and we're not scared of being oversighted in terms of our powers, but you're in a difficult situation sometimes where you think, am I going to get punched? Do I need to act quickly, or do I need to try and de-escalate through verbal communication, Pete? But that's okay. If you're punched in the head last week, Pete, then it makes it a much more challenging situation. So the injuries are physical and they're certainly psychological, and we do an enormous amount of work around officers who are injured, and the police family comes around them, and that's why we call and we visit police wherever we can, because we don't want to lose them. We want them back on the street, keeping the people safe. There's
another incident, Commissioner. This one was at Riverwood. Police stopped a young person who was riding a motorised scooter. You had other men surround the police, and then they filmed that interaction. So police tried to arrest this man. His name is Zephyr Edwards, and then it turns violent. A young person kicks a female senior constable in the head. That's just another incident. How is she doing?
Look, you know what? Courageous. She's very upbeat. She went back to work the next day. She's got a black eye, bruising right across her face. And all she cared about, Pete, was getting back to work to protect the community. And these are the sort of people that are out there policing New South Wales. And it makes me very proud when I speak to someone like that who could have taken a week off or a couple of weeks off, but all she wanted to do was get back to work.
Do you feel like the appropriate measures are in place, the appropriate penalties are in place, Commissioner, or given what's happening here, I mean, kicks to the head, it's so significant and so brutal. Do you think that they should be increased? Would you be pushing for anything like that, or are you satisfied with things the way they are?
Oh, I think we need to come up with some sort of structure that gives some sense of fear in these criminals to assaulting police, that there are consequences. You can get up to 14 years for assaulting a police officer, and that's a significant sentence in itself, Pete. We're really looking closely at what sort of sentencing these type of people are getting, and we'll feed that information back to the Police Minister, who is planning to hold an inquiry into it. But we also need to get into the psyche of these people, Pete, and what drives people to want to assault a police officer. And then some of these crowds, Pete, where we saw a couple of officers attacked with a man with a knife up the North Coast, and the crowd then turned on the police. I mean, we just need to make sure that we've got a handle on exactly what's happening in some of our communities, where in the past that we've seen people come to the rescue of police in difficult situations, where now we have people turning on police or spending their time filming the incident rather than calling AAA. Yeah,
and I mean, there's been incidents in other states as well, where people have been spitting on police as well. In times of COVID, would cause understandable stress on police officers as well. And while I bring up COVID, Commissioner, are you satisfied that everything is in place in the event of a second wave, just like we're seeing in Melbourne at the moment?
Yeah, look, we're very lucky in New South Wales that the Premier made a decision to put police in charge of the overall covert operation. So it became very much a security-based operation, and we secured our ports, our international airport. We took control of the hotels where the international travellers were returning to, and that allowed health to go and do the important job they had to do. And the contact tracing that they're doing in New South Wales is outstanding. We're only seeing 1 or 2 a day, and in most cases health have tracked down the source, and that has been so important in New South Wales. So I think the model that the Premier has put in place in New South Wales has really stood the test. Yes, we're looking at Melbourne closely. Their numbers are quite large, but from my perspective, we'll continue to make sure we control the borders sensibly, at the same time allow health to do the important job they have to do. But, we won't have this situation, Pete, where people are refusing to take a test, particularly when they're symptomatic. They won't be getting cut loose to go back out onto our streets. It won't be happening on our watch.